You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Charlie, how long have we been doing this podcast / YouTube show / what we do
On YouTube or
just in general?
In general, since 2020. So this will be our 4th season coming up.
Cool.
But
And
it started with just audio. Then it went from audio to YouTube. Then it went from YouTube to live. We're recording live. We'll have live episodes. And then now this is our 4th season right here coming up.
cool. And would you say it's fair to say that some of the phrases that you use / that I use, you've kind of like, you might say something that I normally say and I'll say something you normally say, like our vernacular is kind of, like rubbed off in each other. Would you say
that's what happens when you become homeboys? Like, it's ours now. It's ours.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it must have been last off season. I don't know if you remember this. Stop me if you do. But a certain actor came by Miami Dolphins training and was throwing footballs with Tua Tagovailoa. Do you remember who that actor was?
Will Smith.
Will Smith. And Will Smith of Men in Black fame, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Bad Boys, Hancock, Concussion, a whole bunch of stuff. A little rap career as well. I want to say he's got quite a few iconic phrases, like the little handshake with DJ Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince, all that kind of stuff. But quite recently, within the last few years, another one of these phrases kind of went viral out of nowhere. Do you remember what that phrase was?
Is it keep my wife's name out of your mouth?
Yeah, it was. There was a few, few swear words in there, but we'll keep it PG for the thing. And obviously, in the short time that Will Smith and Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa spent together, the vernacular kind of rubbed off against each other because, Tua came out throwing darts. If you haven't seen it, it's over on our YouTube Shorts channel. I believe it's on Instagram, TikTok. It'll be everywhere. But to cut a very long story short, ESPN's Ryan Clark said some stuff about Tua, which wasn't necessary. Basically, fat shamed him. Basically, said he spent too much time getting a tattoo instead of being in the gym. And Tua kind of responded saying, "Hey, I'm a humble person. I come from a humble background, but keep my name out your mouth." And just ended with that. I know this is a preview episode. There's still Jonathan Taylor stuff to talk about, but we wouldn't be Go Time Dolphins if we didn't start talking about what people are now calling Salty Tua. We've got Tight Window Tua. We've got, Century, like Ninja Tua. We've got a whole bunch of stuff.
Tenshu Tua.
We've Bucket Hat Tua. You can't forget Bucket Hat Tua.
Hey, we need to emphasize Tight Window Tua came from the Go Time Dolphins platform. My co-host Kadeem Simmons actually coined the phrase Tight Window Tua.
But yeah, now you've got Salty Tua. Charlie, first of all, how are you? And 2, what do you make of Salty Tua?
Kadeem, I think you left out the best part of it. Everything that he said, I think you left it out. He said, "We can get scrappy if you want to get scrappy." Boy!
I think, again, I don't mean to interrupt, but obviously the whole off-season story was Tua's doing jiu-jitsu to, protect himself. So, falls on his back and not the back of his head. That was a lie. Tua done jiu-jitsu to choke a guy out and give a little, say my name again. I dare you to. Say my name again.
On that note, I got Tua over Ryan Clark. Matter of fact, on that note, I got Tua over Ryan Clark. And another Tua quote from the same presser. He says, if you want to chase clout, go chase Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Like, if you want to go chase clout. He don't keep my name out your mouth. Listen,
maybe Tua and Ryan Clark need to be on one of the next Jake Paul cards because I got Tua over Ryan Clark. I'm just saying.
Listen, why we gave it to the Jake Paul card, the Go Time Dolphins card, with the headline Charlie Touche v Will Hayes. You've also got Tua Tagovailoa against obviously Ryan Clark. We can have Eli Apple against Tyreek Hill. Listen, there's what Christian Wilkins v Josh Allen. There's a few beefs that can be squashed, and they can even get some old school ones. Bring back Devontae Parker, like a tag team. Devontae Parker and Brian Flores against the Bengals when that all kicked off. Yo, there's some scores to settle over here. That's all I'm saying.
Mike Williams was the dude. Yeah, it was Mike Williams that hit Jakeem Grant late. Listen, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Let me start off with this. Fantasy footballers, if you want to enter into the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League, hit us up, gotimedolphins@gmail.com. In the subject, put fantasy football. Let us know that you want to enter, and we'll try to accommodate for everybody. We're really not trying to have like a 30-team league, so we'll see how it goes. And if we can accommodate, we can accommodate. If we had a 14-team league last season, went really well. Winner got his championship ring, got his $300, and the winner of this year's Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League would get the same $300 and a Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football Championship ring. So hit us up at Gmail, gotimedolphins@gmail.com. Kadeem, I have a neighbor, and my neighbor has the best memory ever. I seen her outside. She's like, "Hey, oh neighbor, my name is," and I forgot her name, and I said my name. Oh, my name's Charles. I only said it one time. That's it. And we talked. And I would say months later, she said, "Hey, Charles." And I'm like, "Hey," forgot her name. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, "Yo, that's a pretty good memory." I only said my name one time and she remembered it. But she remembered something else, Kadeem. I seen her yesterday and she said, "Hey, how you been? How's it going?" Some good stuff, right? And then she said, "I can hear you in your apartment." And I was like, this where we going with this? You feel me? And she says, I was watching the draft, the NFL draft, and the Dolphins were on the clock, and I heard you screaming. I'm like, no way. Like, not only did she remember it from way back then, she remembered that the Dolphins were on the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she didn't know I was a Dolphins fan. She just remembered, like, that's when she heard me, like, screaming. I'm like, that is crazy that this woman has this memory like that. But shout out to her. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Let's do this too. I got something for you, Kadeem. This is a story. And I'm about to throw you for a loop, Kadeem. So just rock with me here. I know you're not gonna like this because you're gonna be like, this guy making me do work, producer work. But I'm about to text you something, and I need you to throw it up on the podcast. See what I'm saying? I know my dog. You got to know your homeboy. So listen. Let's see if we can get this picture up here for Kadeem. I know he already saw with me. Y'all work with me on the podcast. One second.
While you get the picture up, just a few housekeeping notes. So obviously,
you want me to send it to your email?
No, I sent it to my phone.
All right.
Those who have emailed us to fantasy football stuff, we have seen it. We will be getting back to you in the near future, even if it's just to say, "Hey, we've seen it," all the good stuff.
Oh no, yeah, everybody's gonna get responded to for sure. Everybody, even if the people didn't make the league.
And then shout out to Hammer, the first official GTD patron, and then shout out to Lane as well on our last live, the Texans review episode, we announced the launch of our Patreon, the GTD Patreon. So thanks, shout out to those two guys for joining, for supporting. The link will be in the description on YouTube. You can see it down there. It's also on Spotify, listen on Spotify, on Apple Music, podcast, if you listen to there. Wherever you get your podcast from, be it audio or video, the link will be in there alongside the link of the Instagram, the Twitter, or now the X, nothing to do with Xavier Howard, the TikTok, all the links are in there. So join, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. And later on, we will talk about the Patreon and what you can get by signing up and supporting.
So there's this girl. And Kadeem's gonna put up a picture.
Wait. Time out. Listen, I know this is Go Time Dolphins. I know this is talking about the team. You can't drop bombshells like this.
Bro, you holding up the podcast. Can we talk on the podcast?
No. Listen, we don't talk off air like that. And clearly we don't.
So listen,
Continue.
I just sent Kadeem this picture. If you could post this picture while I'm telling the story, I'd appreciate you. So Go Time Dolphins, there's this girl. I took her to a Dolphin game. Okay. And a lot of the times on this podcast, I might throw a little disclaimer out there, be like, yo, I'm single, you know what I'm saying? And all the good stuff. But as we can see, as this picture comes up, Charlie Touche is no longer single. Got a whole girlfriend out here now. And I was gonna tell Kadeem, I'm like, I don't know how to tell my dog. Like, this is breaking news. And it's funny because I told Shirai Steve.
No. Okay, cool. Okay, bet. That's how it is. Cool, fair enough.
Yeah, so listen, I told Shirai Steve. And as I tell Shirai Steve says, you know what's funny? Kadeem told Steve that he was engaged before Kadeem told me. And I told Shirai Steve that I got a girlfriend before I even told Kadeem. So it's crazy how that works. Shout out to my girl. You know what I'm saying? Fun times. I'm just saying. But yeah, man, I wanted to tell you, Kadeem, bro, because it was like, you feel me? We'll talk a little briefly, and I'm like, or my girl called me while we're recording, and then I put the podcast on mute, and then like, dang, Kadeem don't even know yet. I'm gonna tell him eventually. I'm gonna tell the whole podcast. So shout out to the podcast. Charlie Touche is no longer single, and my girl is a Dolphin fan, by the way.
I'm not just saying this, yeah. I had an idea. You ain't slick. That's what I'm saying. Listen, all I'm saying, yeah, and I think Hannah Montana could even vouch for this. I remember once we was recording and you were sitting on your sofa and I was like, I hear a girl's voice in the background, but cool. I'm telling you now. Listen, we will discuss that off air. We have so much stuff to talk about.
So hold on. We might have a giveaway. Let's see if we can do this. Hey, podcast. This is still Go Time Dolphins because my girl a Dolphin fan. So we gonna see what time it is. Now, full disclaimer. No disclaimer. Let's just call her up. Let's see what we get.
This is always better when it's live as well.
You know how we do it on Go Time Dolphins. Hold on.
Let's keep it PG, yeah.
Nah, come on, man.
Hello.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just chilling right now.
So I wanted to tell you something real quick. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're on the podcast right now as we speak. You're on speakerphone.
Oh, wow. Hi, everybody.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot. We're gonna have a giveaway if you could get this right. Okay.
Okay.
I need you to name 7 Dolphin players. Doesn't matter when they played, if they're still playing on the team right now. Just give me 7 of them. And if you could give us 7 Dolphin players, we're going to have some type of giveaway at the end of the podcast.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it back to the early 2000s. Okay. Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Tim Bowens, Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Brock Marion, Rondé Gaston. I think that's 7.
It is 7. We're having a whole giveaway out here. Check you out. Look, hey, I'm going to call you after we're done recording. I appreciate you coming through for the giveaway.
All right, babe. Talk to you later.
All right. Yo, we got a giveaway coming up, y'all boys and girls.
I can see why they call you slick because that's what you did there.
What you mean?
Hey, babe. Like the Barry White, like Blackstreet kind of phrase. Hey, babe. Like, I don't get that. I don't get hey, Kadeem. But it's cool.
Bro,
cool.
You're not babe, bro.
I know I'm not babe.
You don't get that because you're not babe.
I'm clearly not a day one because I had to hear about it. Like, see, my teeth heard it first.
Hey, we back, man. We're back. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. We're going to have a giveaway at the end of the show. What we got for today's show, Kadeem?
We are recording before the Jags game, but the eye is already past the Jags game. Like, we're not thinking about the Jags game right now. We are thinking about next Tuesday. Charlie, why are we thinking about next Tuesday?
Going up on a Tuesday because Jim Irsay or the Indianapolis Colts came out and said the deadline for a deal to get done for the Jonathan Taylor sweepstakes is next Tuesday. Is that why we're thinking about next Tuesday, Kadeem?
That is exactly why we're thinking about next Tuesday. So, the Dolphins are reported by various different people to be in the mix to have held talks with the Colts about a trade for Jonathan Taylor. I don't know how to feel about it in the sense that there's it's no secret I'm a massive Christian Wilkins fan, and not that I am naive enough to think that both things can't happen, but it becomes harder to pay Christian Wilkins exactly what he wants with the cap space the Dolphins currently have if you're going to bring in Jonathan Taylor and pay him straight away, which is what you will pretty much do. There'll be no point in trading for Jonathan Taylor in his final year of his contract, not having a deal done before he even walks into the building, if that makes sense. Now, me, you, DraftKings Jason, and 5 Yard Lee had a brief conversation where basically it's like if the Dolphins want to basically extend Wilkins and Taylor, it can be done. There'd have to be a lot of massaging of certain players' contracts, players might have to leave, all that kind of stuff, but it can be done. It's not impossible. But yeah, the Dolphins have essentially until Tuesday to work out a deal with the Colts, and it seems like it's not so much a matter of whether the Dolphins and Jonathan Taylor can come to an agreement. It's whether the Colts and the Dolphins can come to agreement. So, what do you make of the development since we last spoke, which was at the start of the week when talking about the Texans review?
Couple things. I don't believe we got until Tuesday. I believe they want to put a hard deadline on it to speed up the process to hopefully get some things done and to have people, squeaky wheel gets the oil. But if something happens afterwards, they're going to trade them afterwards. So you don't get to say the running back market is terrible and we're not paying running backs and then say we value him at 2 first-round picks or something and then say we have to get this deal done by Tuesday. You don't get to do that. So the deal gets done when the deal gets done. If a deal gets done, because I am of the belief that a deal does not get done by nobody. And I think we're headed towards unprecedented waters or uncharted waters where a running back is disgruntled. And, you had players disgruntled before in the league, but not like this, where the owner of the team came out and said some crazy things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. This is not going to get resolved. I wonder if Jonathan Taylor, if a trade doesn't happen, I wonder if he sits out X amount of games until he comes back and then gets an accrued season. And there's no telling. But from what I understand, 6 teams have reached out to the Colts, and only 2 have made an offer. Take that with a grain of salt. You know, we don't know why we say grain of salt why we're taking things with a grain of salt, but we're taking this one with a grain of salt. That only 2 teams have made an offer, and 6 teams have reached out. The Dolphins are the odds-on favorite, however, to land Jonathan Taylor. And something that you just mentioned, it's not that we can't pay Wilkins and Jonathan Taylor. It's just that if we pay them both, we can't pay other people as well, like Brandon Jones and friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones, friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, Connor Williams, your starting center. Cedric Wilson is up next year. Obviously, we're not bringing him back, but there's so many contracts that are about to be up that you have to massage the cap for. That if something like a Jonathan Taylor comes in, someone's going to be the odd man out. And the first thing that came to my mind was Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry was up, and it was time for him to get a deal. And Tannehill got hurt. And the money that they were going to use to sign Jarvis Landry before the season started, they went and got Smoking Jay Cutler off the couch. And next thing you know, Jarvis Landry was a Cleveland Brown, because you know it got a little ugly. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that it'll get ugly with Christian Wilkins. I can understand it if it did. I don't think anyone will feel no type of way as far as anyone inside the building or in the organization. I don't think any player would be like, "Oh, that's messed up. Y'all ain't signed Christian Wilkins and y'all signed Jonathan Taylor." I don't think no one's going to do that. One, like, everyone knows it's a business, and we're trying to win the championship this year. It was if Christian Wilkins decides to ask for a trade this season, he can do that. He's within his rights to do that. But no other player, none of his teammates are going to be like, "Oh, the Dolphins are tripping because we could have went to the Super Bowl this year with Christian Wilkins." Well, technically, you can go to the Super Bowl this year with Christian Wilkins and Jonathan Taylor. So business is business. And I'm okay with the business side of things. I'm also okay with the football side of things. And whatever happens, happens. So this is what a Super Bowl window looks like. You go all in. And, well, this is what going all in looks like. Because windows can look different for certain franchises. But this is what all in looks like. And I'm going to let you talk. But I have a different take than the last episode. I ended on Jonathan Taylor. And I have a different take from the last episode. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well, no, shoot. Keep going. You're good.
So last episode, I said, I don't think we should bring in Jonathan Taylor because I'm happy with the running back room. I am happy with the running back room. Two things can be true at the same time. I am happy with the running back room. But, you know, if you bring in Jonathan Taylor, you're not going to be able to re-sign Connor Williams. And we'll go down a list of names again: Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, all these other people, Brandon Jones, and then bring in more offensive line help because you want to improve the offensive line. You got to do all that too. So if you bring in Jonathan Taylor, all that's not happening. Keep Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Raekwon Davis is up. You see what I'm saying? All these people are up. Can you make space? Yes, you can. Jerome Baker, this is going to be casualties somewhere. So Jerome Baker can free up some cap space. Emmanuel Agba can free up some cap space, letting these people go. Let him go, Jerome. Let him go, Agba. Let him go, Xavier Howard. And one can argue, are we getting better if we let go of those players? Maybe, maybe not. You know, everyone has their opinion. But there's going to be casualties somewhere if you bring in a Jonathan Taylor. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christian Wilkins' contract is the casualty. It doesn't have to happen like that. So that being said, if we know, Kadeem, that because we don't have the luxury of seeing the future, at least I don't. So if you did, let me know, please, because I need some picks for week 1 when we do easy money. So that being said, we can't see the future. But we know for sure there will be casualties, and next year's team would not be as good, would not be as deep as this year's team. If we know that, and then we know the team after that, which is 2025, because as a GM, you're not just thinking about this year, you think about the future as well. But we wanna win, right? We want Super Bowls, we want bites at the apple or the cherry, depending on what part of the world you're in,
Or the pie.
or the pie. So Chris Greer's job is like, hey, I know I cannot retain all of these players next season or the season after that. But if I bring in a Jonathan Taylor, what I do is shore up one entire side of the ball. So now you have Tua, Jonathan Taylor, your receivers. Obviously, you got to improve the O-line, which you can, but it's no longer this team that's just, Dolphins defense are top 5 defense, top 10 defense. Dolphins offense are top 10 defense, top 10 offense, top 5 offense. So you're not going to have that conversation anymore, but you will have security on one side of the ball. So it can be done. And if, in my opinion, if we know we're not going to retain all these players, why not bring in security on one side of the ball? Like, you're going to have Jonathan Taylor for the next 3 seasons minimum if you bring him in. Your offense is going to be, on paper, the best offense in the NFL for the next 3 seasons. And as much as I would sit here and like to say that I am a defensive-minded person and defense wins championships, as much as I would like to say that, that is not the football that we played this year or in the NFL nowadays. Defense is, you have to have defense, absolutely, yes, but it's an offensive game now. So if you have the best offense on paper and you improve this offensive line, I'm never going to leave that out. You have to improve the offensive line too. So if you improve this offensive line, bring in Jonathan Taylor, you have the best offense in the league. But I can't say no to that. So I'm open to bringing in Jonathan Taylor. I'm just not open to bringing in Jonathan Taylor for a first-round pick and $12 million a year.
Shout out to the people who, over the last few weeks and probably even months, who have been like, yo, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, Miami Dolphins organization, go and get Dalvin Cook. And people were like, listen, the running back room's nice without Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's nice, but, we're good where we are. Those people who said we're good where we are, and I was one of them, are now saying, well, hold on, you have to go and get Jonathan Taylor. And the Dalvin Cook people are like, well, hold on, why don't you go and get Dalvin Cook? Let's make one thing crystal clear. Jonathan Taylor ain't Dalvin Cook. And the one thing which we said once the kind of news came out of what the Dolphins were offering Dalvin Cook is that the Dalvin Cook wanted to be in Miami, but Miami had a price for Dalvin Cook, given his age, the tread on the tires, a whole bunch of things. Also the running back room as it currently is. The one thing that Chris Greer has shown over the past 2 summers now is that if a top 5 player becomes available, he's going to get that guy. He doesn't care. F them picks, F the cap, I'm going to get that player. It was Tyreek Hill, it was Teron Armstead. This year, it was Jalen Ramsey. You can chuck in Bradley Chubb in there as well. Jonathan Taylor becoming available on the back of his rookie contract, on the back of his stats over the past few years, is a Chris Greer F them picks. I'm going to get this guy. That doesn't mean that not getting Dalvin Cook is a thing, if that makes sense. It's just that if you're going to give up picks or give up cap space to a running back, you're going to pick Jonathan Taylor over Dalvin Cook 99 times out of 100, in my opinion. Dalvin Cook for $4 million is cool, great.
Hold on. What was 99 times out of 100? You're going to do what?
Pick Taylor over. Pick
Okay,
Jonathan
yeah,
Taylor
cool. Because earlier you said Jonathan Taylor isn't Dalvin Cook. So typically we say Dalvin Cook isn't Jonathan Taylor, and the way you said that. But all right, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah,
but yeah, and I feel like some people are trying to start an argument or be difficult just for the sake of it, because it's what we do on Twitter. It's like, I'm going to respond and I'm going to try. It's like, no, not every day you do Twitter arguments. We have better stuff to do. I don't need to jump in the space to defend my point. It's just it's same way. Listen, if another example, Kenny Golladay is available. Okay, cool. It's Kenny Golladay. He would have been an addition for what the Dolphins had at the time, but you're not going to break the bank or really make a massive move for Kenny Golladay. Once Tyreek Hill becomes available, you go and get Tyreek Hill. It doesn't matter. And that's what the Dolphins have basically said. Listen, I am not comparing these two players outside of they play the same position. The Dolphins drafted friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, to play left tackle. They had him at right tackle at some point. They brought in Liam Mike, but all that kind of stuff. But once a Teron Armstead becomes available, you go and get that guy. And I would not be surprised if Jonathan Taylor is a Miami Dolphin, because he's a top 5 guy in his position, arguably top 3. Arguably, for some people, he's the best running back in the league. And I just think that if you don't have a top 10 offense and you have a quarterback who doesn't have injury problems, but had picked up injuries in his time, not just at the NFL level, but at the college level, what's one way to keep him upright? You get him a running back. And we've said that for years. Spoiler alert, the draft the Dolphins took Tua Tagovailoa, you go and get Jonathan Taylor. It's what you do. And it's like, it now feels like 4 years later, the Dolphins are revisiting that pick and going, we should have done it 4 years ago. Let's not let him get away this time. And you bring him in. And for people who say, well, you don't pay a running back, you kind of don't. But Jonathan Taylor seems like one of those guys who's going to be the exception. Same way how the 49ers went and brought Christian McCaffrey, and you saw the instant impact he made on that team.
What my co-host just said is, don't let a good player prevent you from attaining a great player, acquiring a great player. Blue chip talent and blue chip character. Like this is what you do. So I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem. I talked myself into wanting Jonathan Taylor before I was out. Like, we don't need it. But and when I say I want him, I'm not like, yo, we gotta do this. What are we doing? Nothing like that. I'm okay if we don't bring in Jonathan Taylor. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Dalvin Cook. Like, it's cool we had Cook. I'm okay. I am the person who sounded the horns for Chris Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we got to see what Chris Brooks looks like. So you put Chris Brooks, Devon A-Chain, and then insert whatever other 2 running backs here. I'm happy with our running backs. And newsflash, Coach McDaniel has this, and it's going to come out one day. And someday soon, if the Dolphins don't bring in Jonathan Taylor, expect this clip to pop up, surface in Dolphins Twitter. It's a clip where Coach Mike McDaniel, shout out to McDrip, he breaks down to a science the running game, because he was the run coordinator once upon a time for the teams he used to work on, he used to coach on. And he broke it down to a science about carries in the backfield. And he said, the numbers that I'm about to give you are going to be wrong, but he gave you the actual numbers. And he said there's about, and we'll just call it 500 carries, 600 carries. He said there's about 600 carries that a running back is going to get in a season. And when you have a quote unquote bell cow running back, you expect that running back to get the lion's share of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you want that running back to get 400 of those of out of the 6. But in San Fran, once upon a time, they had it where there was like 3 or 4 running backs, and all of them had like 200 carries apiece, and all of them had over 500 yards. And I can't remember what season this was. This could have been like 3 seasons ago, where they had 3 or 4 running backs all bringing in over like a pretty even distribution. And he said that's what that's the route that he would rather go. So expect that clip to surface here in the near future if Jonathan Taylor isn't a Dolphin, because your coach The Miami Dolphins, our coach, the Miami Dolphins head coach, is a genius when it comes to particularly the running game. You see what I'm saying? So I trust coach. If coach says, yo, I'm in on this, let's do it, you might as well just go ahead and pick up Jonathan Taylor in the top 3 picks of the fantasy football draft. And if coach says, no, we're not going to do Jonathan Taylor, it's because he doesn't want the onus, that running back to have the onus of 600 touches a season. You see what I'm saying? It's just not realistic for a running back to endure that type of punishment throughout a season in 2023. And last but not least, there's another stat out there where we could probably put it up now, but we won't, where you can just say, well, let's go through the past 10 Super Bowls, how it's just the conversation, and see who the running back was. And it was not a top 10 running back ever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a top 10 running back that on the Super Bowl winning team. So there's also that conversation. So that's why running backs have devalued. The value of running backs has just tanked. So, or cratered. Insert whatever adjective you want here. You know what I'm saying? So that's not an adjective. That's a verb, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, it's definitely not an adjective. That's
yeah, it's not an adjective. My bad. It's not an adjective. It's a verb. So yeah, man. So but you cannot tell me that the offense isn't better if you have a top, and you said he's a top 3 running back. Like, listen, I tell people all the time, for Charlie Touche's dollar, Nick Chubb is the best pure running back in the NFL today. That's for my dollar. If I'm evaluating running backs and someone said, hey, who's the best running back? Just pure running back in the league right now, I'm gonna give it to Nick Chubb. Jonathan Taylor is in this conversation, and Kadeem said top 3. If I sat here and thought about it, I can't say Jonathan Taylor is outside of the top 4. So yeah, he probably is in the top 3 if I sat here and thought about it. You do have, your Austin Eckler's where they're they can do some things, but when you have Jonathan Taylor that can, and I don't want to talk too much about someone who's not on the Dolphins. Shout out to Raheem Mostert. You're like, yo, dude's not here. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we talking about it? You feel me? And I will say this. Another thing about the Miami Dolphins, a stand-up franchise when they want to be, because sometimes we want to have scandals. You know what I'm saying? But other times we're a stand-up franchise. When Laremy Tunsil got traded, they brought Chris Greer. Chris Greer brought Laremy Tunsil into the office, and he had the trade on a whiteboard. And he told Laremy Tunsil, like, yo, we like you. We want you here. We drafted you. We want you to be a Dolphin for the rest of your days. But we got something that was just too good to turn down. And then Laremy Tunsil will tell you, I looked at the board and I seen everything they were getting for me. And this is what Laremy Tunsil said. I trade me too. So there's a business aspect where it's like, dang, like when you got to do something, when you can't do something, you got to do it. So as much as there's a personal relationship with Jeff Wilson Jr. and Coach McDaniel, a personal relationship outside of football where Jeff Wilson Jr. respects Coach, the man that Mike McDaniel is. And it was on, so it's a couple of Miami Dolphin interviews, if you could catch one of them, about Jeff Wilson Jr., how Coach just impacted his life as a human. That's a tough conversation where you got to tell Jeff Wilson Jr. or Raheem Mostert, we really wanted to get this done with y'all boys and see a championship together. And, we just spent the last 6 years of our careers together, but we're going to take this opportunity. That's a tough conversation you got to have with a human being. You feel me? It's not Madden. It's not execute. It's not just these buttons you're pressing and trading and you execute. It's human beings and families. And that's why you get Kyle Van Noy and Brian Flores relationships like that don't exist no more because of stuff like that. So if it happens, it happens. And if it don't, it don't.
So if it happens, what do you think a realistic trade the Dolphins should offer, which the coach would accept? And a question that 5 Yard Lee asked me: what number does Jonathan Taylor wear?
All right, so I told you the number thing when I said, yo, podcasters think about numbers, like players don't think about numbers. And I just thought Braxton Berrios wasn't going to make the team, and Devon A-Chain would go to 0, and Jonathan Taylor would get 28. No harm, no foul. Everybody's happy. But I don't know. I say I'm gonna go back to my trade compensation still stands. 2 threes, which already is a lot in my opinion for a running back.
I don't think the Dolphins have 2 threes this year.
No, it won't be 2 threes in the same year.
Oh, do you like? Okay, let's. If you tell me the years, I can tell you what Dolphin draft pick they have.
It don't matter what years. It could be this year and next year, or next year and 25. Either way you want to address it, we could do it. 2 threes. And then I'll throw in Cedric Wilson Jr. because the Colts need receiver help. Cedric Wilson will bring receiver help today for them. And then I'll have them have their pick at 2 running backs. Yo, you get the pick out of the 2 running backs you have on our football team. And I would try my hardest to not give them Devon A-Chain. So if you want Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr., Cedric Wilson Jr., and 2 threes, so be it. As soon as they talk about Devon A-Chain, I'm gonna be like, "But I don't know about all that."
So I'm looking at a website right now. It said in 2024, Dolphins have a pick in round 1, round 2, round 5, round 6, and round 7. The Dolphins don't have a pick in round 3 and 4 next year.
So 2025, they have a 3. We have 3s, and in 26 we have a 3.
So 25, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 5s, 1 6, and 1 7.
Hold on, you can manufacture 3s though. You can move some people to get 3s. Like, I just feel like, so I guess the value is what I'm talking about. As far as you're saying, like today with what we have, what will we? Oh, I'll do 1 3, 1 3, and the players that I mentioned, and I could throw a 5 in there. I feel better about that because 2 threes is a lot, bro. Like for a team that needs players and a GM who we know can turn a 1 into multiple picks. Like, I need Chris Greer to have all the assets he can to flip these picks. So I need him to be able to do his thing. And as much as some people don't like Chris Greer, y'all are acting, because the next thing we're going to talk about is Trey Lance is not even the number 2 in San Francisco. So shout out to San Fran. We appreciate your willingness to give us the ability to pick up Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. How considerate. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all boys, and shout out to Chris Greer for making that happen. So I need all the picks I can get for Chris Greer so he could do his thing.
Yeah. And again, and I think that's probably not a hold up, but where talks kind of like, say the coach want, okay, well, we want a second. The Dolphins can't even go, well, we'll give you a 3 and something else, because they don't have a 3. And the 3 is the following year. It's like the 2025 3. And the coach could be like, 2025 is not good for us. No offense, but nah, we're not doing that. And you're always going to get a team that's going to go, we'll give you a first. Like, what? Like, again, say, madam, what are you doing? Like, go away. Like, like there's always that one situation where, like you're negotiating for something. It's like you're kind of getting really close. Like, say it's a car. And it's like, a secondhand car. I don't drive, but secondhand car, I'll give you $1,000 for it. And the person's like, oh, I'm not too sure. But it's kind of what they wanted. And they're just about to say yes. And then some idiot comes and goes, I'll give you $3,000. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, why move? And you can imagine like a Chicago or someone just going, hey, take her first. It's like, why? Like, why are you getting involved in this conversation for? Chicago is a team to definitely be careful for.
I like Chicago to do this. And I also like Chicago to be in on Chase Young. And I like Chicago to be a threat to Philly for the next 3 years to win the NFC. Get it together, Chicago. You feel me? Like, it can happen. But I will say this, Kadeem. You can have a first in the trade. You can trade a first and then get something back. Like, yo, here goes a first. Here goes Cedric Wilson. Here goes 2 running backs. Excluded. Matter of fact, this is how you keep Devon A-Chain. Here goes a first. Here goes Cedric Wilson. Here goes Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert. We want Jonathan Taylor and 2/4 or a third and a fourth. And then the third and the fourth does not have to be this season. It 2024, it can be a third and a fourth or 2025. So you can add a first, but that's a lot. That's still a lopsided. That's still a lot for me. I'm not trying to do that. So yeah, you can add a first in here, but you're still going to get compensation back. We're going to talk about this preseason game, bro.
Who starts at quarterback? Mike White or Blackman? No, Mike White. Skylar Thompson or Blackman. It's like, and to be fair, it's funny. So before we do talk about the preseason game, and we will get to it, I promise you. We're playing the Jaguars. The Jaguars are owned by Shahid Khan or Shad Khan. Yeah, whose son is Tony Khan, and Tony Khan runs the wrestling promotion AEW, and that's where I'm going on Sunday, Wembley Stadium, AEW. Me and Hannah Montana cannot wait. So yeah, that's my little Jaguars connection for this weekend. But yeah, Dolphins, Jags. We listen. We know for a fact at this point, you're not seeing no starters. Like it's not happening. We saw two and some guys last week. That was the old third preseason game that you see the starters. This week it probably would have been Mike White, but Mike White had a concussion. Obviously we're not doing no huddle, not doing easy money. That can all come.
Oh, but you could blindside me with a weather question on the first preseason game when I wasn't even ready, right?
That's what preseason's about.
What's the weather this game?
I haven't checked.
See, when I done started ironing, sharpening up my tools, you don't want to ask me, but I'll be ready for week one. I'm ready now.
But again, that's perfect because you had your start in week one, and now you're getting rested. Like save it for week one. Like the regular season week one. Don't be getting all of your dots and your mathematical genius.
I'm ready now, bro. I'm ready to go. I threw my pick on the first play of the game. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm ready for the season.
But then we will see. But yeah, listen, it's going to be the quarterback will probably be a tiny bit of Skylar Thompson and then Blackman for the rest of the game. The running back will probably be Chris Brooks, and if you have another running back on the roster who can get some carries, the receivers will probably be. I don't even think you run Eric Ezekama. That would probably be Cedric Wilson, a bit of Eric Ezekama, maybe some like Craycraft 400 and some other guys. But it's basically the wide receiver battle was so intense that even without obviously Hill, Waddle, and probably Robbie Chosen, there's still depth there. There's still talent.
So who's the 6 receivers that make the roster, Kadeem? And that's if we keep 6, because we kept 5 last year. So who's the 6? And I'm giving you 6, but it could be 5. Who you got?
It's essentially name the 4 players, not name Hill and Waddle. And you're gonna go
Hill and Waddle, you mean? Or it sounds like you said 2 and Waddle, but
no, that's it. Yeah, Hill and Waddle. So Anderson.
Who's Anderson? Robbie Chosen?
So yeah, Robbie Chosen, apologies. So Chosen, I think you're Chosen, Barrios, Craycraft 400, and Eddie Karma.
Oh, so Cedric Wilson got traded in.
Yeah.
How convenient would it be if Cedric Wilson is in this Jonathan Taylor trade? Like it is so convenient. You know what? This is what happened in fantasy football. I have a team on fantasy football, and there's someone on the waiver wire that I really like, and he's available. I don't even have to bid on him. I don't even have to like put a claim in. I could just go get him. And I'm like, dang, I don't want no one to swipe this dude, but I have to move my roster around, right? So I'll go trading people. Like, yo, I give you 2 people for 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I really need to clear up a roster spot. So I'm shopping a trade out there. Like, yo, take this player, this extra player, so I could go to the waiver wire and get this player that I really want. And right now, that's what the Dolphins look like, because they really need this roster spot. And Cedric Wilson is a trade candidate anyway. The Colts need a receiver. it works out there, but then our running back room is crowded, so it also works out there because you can move a couple running backs to Indianapolis, and then you're gonna get an apology on the way out. Like, bro, we try to do right by our players. We don't want to send anyone into oblivion, but sorry, Mostert or Jeff Wilson or anybody else on the roster, you got to go play for a team that's gonna have 3 wins this year. Like, that's not how you want to treat people. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a business, you know what I'm saying? And no one, yeah, I don't think they'll be mad. Like, they're gonna be like, dang, it's families involved, but it's a business. Hey, you could just be better and not be traded. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, also, it's the cut candidates. So once you're cut, you're not going to a team that's probably making the playoffs because they've got the talent that they need. So you probably go into like a eight or less win team and mess around. It's not going to be a good team. So it's like, essentially, it's you didn't get to pick the team that you wanted, but let's not pretend that you're going to go join the Chiefs.
And let's not,
yeah,
let's not pretend you're a franchise player either.
Yeah, and
but
again,
you're a human being. You still get respected. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, we trying to. Matter of fact, we'll send you a ring at the end of the season because you was on the team during the preseason. Technically, we don't have to, but you'll still get one.
Yeah, and I think this preseason game, like I said at the top of the show, the Jonathan Taylor stuff is what everyone's talking about, but it's extra incentives for the running back to be like, hey, I'm not going that trade. I'm showing you why I should be in this building, and if anything, I'm showing you why we don't need Jonathan Taylor because I'm gonna run hard. I'm gonna make the most of my minutes. Okay, it's against guys who will be working in Walmart and Target and Best Buy over the next few weeks and stuff like that. But I'm gonna show you exactly why that I should stay at Hard Rock Stadium. We're doing this the last few weeks. Any players you particularly want to see this week, bearing in mind you're not going to get many starters out there. Sorry, no starters out there. Sorry.
I want to see more Elijah Higgins. I think he's perfect to see more from. Like, you're not going to be an important piece for this team. So let's see what you got out there. I want to see more Chris Brooks. I love to see more of that. So Chris Brooks like 6'2", 230, bro. 6'3", 230. Like, bro, it just, I get tickled when I think about this, bro. Like, that's a weapon. So yeah, just give me some Chris Brooks. I think Alama makes the team. Friend of the podcast. I think he makes the team, so I don't have to see too much of him. But I don't think that trade gets done. I think the reason it doesn't get done because I think the Dolphins want him. I think Greer and McDaniel want JT, but I think they also like, we're comfortable. We're happy with our room. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pushed Buffalo to the brink of a playoff game with the team we have without a quarterback. We don't need to go flipping things around. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think they're going to lowball. The same way they lowballed Dalvin Cook and didn't get him is the same way they're going to lowball Indianapolis. But the Colts can make it simple or easier. Now, I don't want to say simple. They can make it easier by taking on some of JT's cap. I think he's due $4 million. They could take on $3 million, and he'll, in essence, be owed $1 by the Colts, and then the Dolphins can pay the rest. But I don't know that the Dolphins do not owe Jonathan Taylor a contract this year. You know what I'm saying? We did not draft you. You're not getting fifth-year option. So it's hard for you to go to a team and be like, yo, I need to get paid like I'm the future of the league. And we don't even know if you're the future of the league because you're a running back that can get hurt any given play and takes too much damage. So it's a hard thing to get done. I don't know that it gets done.
Yeah. I'm still interested in the same guys I've been interested in the last few weeks. Alama Uluwave, Brandon Pilley, both guys in the trenches, both guys showing why they're probably going to make their roster, and if not, they're going to push it extremely hard and make a very difficult decision for Chris Greer. Again, showing more Aubrey Miller Jr. he's not in the red practice suit, so practice jersey. And I know we're not playing starters, but it'd be cool to see friend of the podcast Brandon Jones and friend of a podcast, Troy Williams. You know, a drive before the season starts, I guess. And yeah, Elijah Higgins as well. But that's basically it. It's just about and a guy like Verone McKinley who, given the DB depth right now, might not make the roster, but he's showing again. If he doesn't make the roster, he'll probably be kept in the practice squad if he makes it through waivers. And continue to develop there. But no, it's exciting times in Miami, and I guess the next time we speak after bonus time and stuff like that, we might be closer to a Jonathan Taylor trade. And I'm kind of with you as well. Tuesday is a deadline, quote unquote. If Taylor's like, I'm not signing a contract, so I'll stay here until I walk from free agency. Give it week 5, week 6, and the coach are like, you know, we actually need to get rid of him now because we need to get something back for him. Then yeah, Dolphins like, listen, here's 2 running backs, or whoever's around, and they do it that way. But
it's interesting that you just said that, because he will hang around just to get the accrued season, and you would think if he hasn't played the first 6 games of this season and then comes back just in time to get in accrued season, you're not going to franchise tag him. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to franchise tag this guy who's giving you a problem and then have him accept the tag and then be like, oh, hamstring's a little sore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I could come back in the next 4 weeks, coach. So you're not going to keep that guy around while you're trying to install a culture with a new head coach and a new rookie quarterback. Do what you got to do and trade this dude. You know what I'm saying? Trade him, get what you can, bite the bullet, fall on the sword. Y'all owner, put y'all GM in the back in a tough position. Pillai makes this team, by the way. Raekwon Davis, contract year. Zach Sealer, contract year. Christian Wilkins, contract year. Pillai paid a 6-figure contract to come to the Dolphins as an unsigned free agent. He's making this team. Like, so for sure. Y'all know what time it is, though. Come on over to bonus time. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Shout out to my girl. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
So I'm a gamer. I have my days. I play my video games. And at the end of the game, you say GG. Good game. I'm sure you say it in sports as well. Yo, GG, dap up, all that kind of stuff. We've now got a GG on Go Time Dolphins. Charlie, what's that GG?
Go Time giveaway?
Close.
Hey, that was I went searching for that one.
It's a golfing giveaway. Like, that's what we do. They got like.
Oh, hey, listen. We're gonna we should do it live. We're gonna do it live because we'll figure it out, get it done on a live, and do it on the Jacksonville review episode. Hold up. You have a card? Are you giving away a card on the review episode?
Bear me 2 seconds.
Hold on, no. Hold on. What I was saying was, are you giving away a card on the review episode?
I can do.
No. But I'm just saying, like, I didn't know if you were, and then we won't clash on giveaways.
I currently wasn't going to,
No, all right. So we'll get it figured out.
Cool.
Make sure we get some Hey, y'all come on over to the next episode. We're giving away something.
100%.
We'll figure out what we're giving away, courtesy of Charlie Touche's brand new girlfriend.
We're also giving away Madden 24. Mentioned it earlier, we have a Patreon. It's a Patreon only giveaway. Shout out Lane and shout out Hammer, the first two GTD patrons. So yeah, let's quickly dig through what the Patreon, what we do on Patreon. So tier one, tier one, yes, tier one. GTD acquaintances, it's currently $3. You are automatically entered into giveaways. So if you miss a live, if you miss a show and there's a giveaway, you are automatically entered off the bat. You don't need to do anything. You are automatically entered. That's the first thing. You were also given a personalized Go Time Dolphins / GTD jersey wallpaper. It'll be up on the screen. You can see it. Shout out to 5 Yard Lee for that. We appreciate you. We have the 3 different jerseys, the current home, current road, and the throwback till. Get your name and number on there. They look dope. So that is in tier 1. Tier 2, GTD Associates. That is $5 a month. Same stuff as the acquaintances tier, but you also get a Patreon shout out on the end credit. So at the end of the episode, you will see your name on every single episode. It's a way to our way of saying thank you and to letting the rest of the world know that we couldn't do it without you. So you essentially become part of the show on a weekly and episode basis.
We definitely appreciate y'all support. Goes a long way. You have no idea.
100%. And you also get merch discounts. So when we start when we start selling our merch, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff, you will get discount. Again, it's a thank you. You don't pay full price. There's a little bit off. So when you're at games, when you're at Christmas, when you're at whatever holiday you're at, you wear an official GTD merch. And then the final tier, GTD MVPs, $10 a month. Again, all the same stuff as the associates and the acquaintances tier, but you also get exclusive episode voting power. So we'll be like, hey, this month we're going to do an episode on one of these topics. Which would you like us to talk about? You get to be part of that. So again, it's you are part of the show. The show is your show. It's not just myself and Charlie and the rest of the GTD team. Get extra easy money tips, courtesy of Charlie Touche. So obviously on the preview episodes, we will go through easy money. Charlie Touche will have some extra ones, which the ones. Is it okay if I call them the 20K cam ones? Because hey, you might not get 20K.
It's a sore spot. It's too soon for that. You know what I'm saying?
Too soon.
It's too soon for that. But we'll still do easy money. So you're still gonna get an easy money segment on the episode, but we're gonna have some exclusive picks that I like, not only for just the Dolphins, but the rest of the league. So easy money is catered to Miami Dolphins specific bets, and what we're doing in Patreon, you're gonna have some bets that I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of the best I'll be rocking with during the season myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I'm not a betting person. That's not what I do. So I guess my entry into the GTD MVP tier is, me, you, we're gonna game. If you're a gamer, brilliant. If not, we can find something that even if I don't do it, I'll find a way to do it with you. So I'm a Call of Duty player. I'm a Madden player. I play FIFA. You can get some games in, get some dubs, and also kind of just chop it up when you're playing online. Got your headset, playing the game. Hey, how's things going? Kind of like a little one-on-one session. And then the final thing in the GTD MVP tier is when you are an MVP for a year. So you've essentially subbed for 12 months. You will be given a Miami Dolphins jersey of your choice. So
love
hey,
it.
You want
love it.
You want a Jonathan Taylor Miami Dolphins jersey? Let us know. We will get that shipped over to you in your size. You want a Tua jersey, whatever it is, we got you. We will send that over. So yeah. One last thing. Is anything that you would like to see us add to the Patreon? Let us know, because obviously it's not just what we want, it's what you guys want. If you think, hey, this would be pretty dope for you guys to do. I know Hammer said, you could make someone a what did he say exactly, Charlie? Remind me.
Was it a wallpaper?
No, it wasn't a wallpaper.
Can't
A mod.
remember.
It was a mod. I know some patrons do mods. We haven't really discussed that, but if you have an idea, shout us out, let us know. We will consider it and get back to you. But genuinely, any support is appreciated. We literally just reached 1,500 subs on YouTube, 250,000 views on YouTube, which is 250,000. That's insane. That is mental.
Appreciate the support.
Genuinely do. We would not be there without each and every one of you. So thank you so very much. And I guess onwards and upwards. I've got one last thing to say, Charlie, but I will throw it to you before I say my last thing.
No, I was going to close this out.
Let's see if we're going to close out the same way. Go, shoot.
Nah, I want to go second.
You want to go second?
Yep.
But I feel like my closeout is like more impactful.
Oh, all right. So I think mine is more impactful, but I'll go first. You ready?
Yeah.
If we need to get scrappy, we can get scrappy.
See, mine was going to be keep my callback's name out your mouth. So we would, you know what? Let us know in the comments what was the more impactful line, and we will.
If we need to get scrappy, we could get scrappy.
Music.